Hey mate, are you struggling to get that barbell on a good position on your shoulders for a back squat? Well, today I'm going to go through a few great exercises to loosen up your upper back so we can make that just that little bit easier. Let's get into it. For a traditional back squat, usually the lower we have it on our back, the more we can lean forward, means the more we can use our hips and lift more heavy weight. The higher we go up on our shoulders, the more we have to keep an upright torso, okay? And usually we won't be able to lift as much weight that way. So the idea for your barbell back squat is to try to get that as low as you can and rest it on your upper traps or your rear delts on your shoulders. But a lot of us just have a lot of trouble getting in that position, okay? So most of the time, the problem is that if we're in a rounded position here, we can't get into an upright position and get that barbell back onto our shoulders. So you can see the difference if I try to round out here and I can't really get my shoulders back because I'm increasing the distance that my shoulders have to go back to do it. Whereas if I get an arch, I get much more space there. If you are having a lot of trouble with just getting the barbell on your back, easy way to fix it is just to go extra wide, okay? So what you can see here is if I go extra wide with a barbell, it's a lot easier to get back there because I don't have to jam my elbows back, okay? And it's not really challenging my upper back as much. Whereas if I start to bring them in, the more my elbows have to go back and the more extended I have to be in the chest to get it there. So today, what we're going to do is address the problem of having not enough range of motion in your thoracic spine so that if you can get a big chest while you're lifting, that means your shoulders will be able to move a bit better and you'll be able to get the barbell to sit on your upper traps. So I'm going to show you, while using a foam roller, how you can actually loosen that up, okay? So the way we're going to do that is I want you to place the foam roller just under your shoulder blades here, okay? So we're placing it just under here. So just to kick off, what we'll do is you can start to roll up and down, okay, like that. Now that's what usually people do when they're rolling out the T-spine. They'll just roll up and down and really not much else. But what we can do to get stuck into those muscles a bit better, we can move our shoulder blades away, which means we can get stuck into the musculature just around your spine, like your rectors and stuff like that. So the way we do that is resting your back on here, giving yourself a big hug, either like this, or you can use your elbows like this to support your neck and pull your elbows forward, okay? So today we'll go like that. So giving yourself a big hug, pulling those shoulder blades away, and then you'll find that you'll really get more out of your foam rolling, okay? So we're gonna roll up and down, finding any sore spots. So usually you should find them just under your shoulder blades, this point here, that's where I'm getting them. And I want you to do is roll up and down, okay, just to find out what's going on. Then the other way we can do is go to the side and then just roll up and down, just on that side of your spine, okay? If you might have one, you might have the left side a little bit tighter or a little bit sorer than the other, okay? Then give it a go on the other side, rolling up and down, like so, okay? Once you've found like a real sore spot on your spine, I want you to stop on that spot for a little bit, give yourself a big hug, and then park your butt on the floor. And what we'll do here is we're going to hinge on that bit, just to loosen up that sensitive spot that you've got there. So the way we do that is we can take a breath in, and then as we open up, we want to breathe out. And we really want to bring our rib cage up to the sky, and I really want you to breathe out and relax towards the floor, okay? Then take another breath in and then slowly breathe out and see if you can get a bit more mobility on that breath out. As you can see here, I've got a very flexible T-spine, so if you feel like your T-spine is already quite flexible, I would move on to the next exercise. Okay, so now that we've got your T-spine a little bit loosened, we've probably got a little bit of extra range, or if you've already got that range, but you find it hard to use it, you should move on to this next step here. So what we're going to do, we've got that extra range and we're just going to teach you how to use it actively, okay? So the way we do that is we're going to isolate the T-spine or your upper back and try to get things moving around there, okay? So the way we do that is, this is just a modified cat camel. Sit our butt onto our heels here. So what that does is stops us from moving our lumbar spine, okay? So we have our hands a little bit close to our knees, just out the front here, and we're going to practice getting an arch and then rounding our back. Trying to get things moving, trying to grease it up. We want a straight back and arch back so that we can get that bar on our back, okay? So this is practicing that. So the way we do that is we want to round out and imagining the mid part of our back here is going up to the sky, and we're pushing our hands into the floor like so, getting a good stretch. And then we're doing the opposite of that, bringing our chest through our arms and bringing our shoulders behind us, okay? So you can imagine with your hands, what I'm actually doing is, if you watch, my elbow is going out here and I'm driving the back of my elbow forward. So I'm packing my shoulders as I do it. So I'm bringing that chest through like so. And you can use your breath to get better at this one. So I'll take a breath in here and then take a breath out as you're pushing. And see, with each breath, you can get a little bit further. Make sure you really work hard for this. Use your breath and you'll be able to get that little bit of extra range before you go on to the next movement. Okay, so after going through those last two steps, we've got a bit more mobility by using the foam roller, and then we decided to start trying to use that mobility. In other words, actively use the mobility through those cat-camel T-spine progressions. So the next one to move on is to actually integrate it into your training. In other words, use it in a movement that you would use every day or that you would use in the gym. That's going to challenge it so that your body remembers and instills it into your brain. So the way we're going to do that is using an RDL as an example. So with the Romanian deadlift, it's going to challenge you keeping a straight spine, okay? Because as we do an RDL, as we sit back and we've got the weight out in front of us, it's going to make us want to curl our spine up in this position, which is not the position you want when you're trying to get the back rack position for a squat. So if you haven't done RDLs before, well, you're in luck. We can start off by using a stick, okay? The way we do that is we get 3 points of contact. So we go 1, 2, and 3. So the way we hold that on our spine like so, and we're just going to practice the RDL. So in other words, we're going to sit back like so into our hamstrings and then back up, okay? And we want to make sure we're keeping 3 points of contact, particularly on the sacral area here, because if we're coming up off that spine, that means we're probably curling our back there. So we want to make sure we've got a straight spine and we're really challenging that extension in our spine, okay? So going up like that. Once that gets pretty easy, we can challenge it even further, okay? So what we can do is we grab a barbell, add a bit of weight to it depending where you're at, and then just start practicing our RDLs, okay? So you're going to be doing the same thing you're doing with a stick, but just with a bit of weight on there, okay? So, and with the weight, as we sit back, your body's going to be challenged and it's going to want to do this, and you're going to resist the urge to flex and pull yourself into an extended position. So sitting back into the hamstrings, make sure that you've got a nice neutral straight spine and squeezing your butt at the top. So essentially we're using RDL as something called an anti-flexion exercise. Once you've done a few rounds of all 3 of those, then go back into your squat and see if you can get into that back rack position a lot better. Okay, thanks so much for watching. So make sure to do those 3 exercises before you try your back squat. You could do 1, 2, 3 back squat, 1, 2, 3 back squat, 1, 2, 3 back squat. And each time you should get a bit more extension and it should feel a little bit easier before you get to your working sets of your barbell back squats, okay? So keep chipping away that T-spine extension. The more, the better. It's always useful to have more extension in that T-spine. It's just so much, makes things so much easier for your shoulders. But if you keep going into the gym and you keep getting pain, you get out of pain, then go back to the gym, you end up in pain again. Or if you're always jammed up in your shoulders and your back, you get loosened up, you go back to the gym and you end up going back to the way it was before. Well, I've got a guide for you called the 7 Lifts to Bulletproof Your Body after injury, okay? It just goes through the 7 biggest lifts in the gym. It teaches you how to do these lifts the best way and safest way possible. So you can check out that guide in the description box down below. Please make sure to check it out. Anyway, my name is Adam, and remember, I help you to return to the gym and stay there.